Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today is the day. Finally got my 2026 planner set up, ready to go. I am moving to a half letter size, so there's been a lot of changes, a lot of things to make, a lot of different accessories and all that good stuff. But the core of my planner is still the same. You'll see that as I take you through. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. I have a few reprints of sheets that are going to go into my planner setup. So I'll show you guys how I go about doing it. First off, these are printables from my shop, and the way that I like to print them out is through the booklet feature in Adobe Acrobat Reader. You get a single sheet with both crop marks and without crop marks for the half letter size, so that you can either double them up like I'm doing here, or you can print them individually on a sheet of paper that's either half letter size or bigger and crop it down if you need to. So that is what you see here. I use the booklet so that the pages are 2 up on each side, and then when you cut it in half, if you're doing a run of pages, it should just fold in half, and then it's like turns like a booklet. So since these were kind of like offcuts, I ended up doing 4 pages at a time or 8 pages at a time, just so when I use the booklet feature, everything backs up properly. A couple of things to note about half letter, or if you're doing an A5 size on an A4 sheet, you are unable to get a full bleed. And this isn't just my printables, this is, all printables, because most printers cannot print all the way to the edge. If you are looking for that full bleed look where everything, has no margin, you'll want to either print a single sheet and cut it down, or you'll need to print on a sheet larger than double the size of your pages when you print like this. Okay, so that's just a little printing know-how. Again, I just went ahead and printed these. I have a laser printer, and I did booklet style. Instructions for that is included in all of my printables as well, and I'm always happy to help troubleshoot if you have any issues. But basically, since like I said, I have a bunch of offcuts, I'm just going to go ahead and cut these all in half. I'm just going to really get close to that cut line there, since that should be right at the edge. Okay. So that is the first step for these printables. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. So like I said, I did do some of these back to back. So this is, I think, the one I did of 8. And then these other couple should be for it. Yes. So they go like this, and then the pages are like that. We got that. And then for this one, I needed, a back to back with a social stats schedule. Is that right? Yes, social stats, yes. So I got a January and February social schedule I need to reprint, and then I also have my January and February monthly overview pages for my budget planner. And again, I had to print in 4 pages just so I could get the backing up of the different pages properly. So just note, if you're doing this type of printing, that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so these are all 3 different sections. Let me go ahead and hole punch them. I'm using a Happy Planner pink punch, and that is for big size or classic size Happy Planner. It has markings for each, but for half letter, it's an 8-disc setup. I went ahead and made myself a little cheat sheet for where I need to line up these pages in this punch in particular for half letter. And basically, it's just straddling between a couple of them so that they don't punch the top and the bottom by mistake and get centered with the other hole punches. So there you can kind of see there's no center hole, so you have to just adjust, figure out where it is, and then maybe do something similar where you're marking your punch if you have something like this. And then we'll do these ones. And then one more. Make sure this is on the right side. Yeah. Do make sure you're punching the right side of your inserts. That's always a good thing to pay attention to. So I have them punched and they're ready to go, which is awesome because classic size used to take quite a bit more work. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in. I'll show you. I do have pretty much the planner set up, so I'm just going to replace these pages out and I'll show you where those are. So this first one is, Faith. So Faith is in the back now. It used to be in the front, but now it is in the back. So I accidentally printed the order different than what I had wanted to do this year. So that's why you're seeing me replace these pages out. So I wanted the month now as the first tab. And that's where this tab will live. And then we're going to put this in. And now the overview is the second tab. Kind of goes with the flow that I like in my planner. So all of the sections will have a similar kind of setup, as you'll see. All right, so we've got the social schedule now, which is much more front. I think it should be actually right here. Is this right? Oh, wait, it should be here. Yeah. So what I wanted for this, did I print this right? Oh, I did not. I mean, I did, but I forgot to print one of the pages that I needed. Bummer. Okay, I'll do that, and I'll tell you what I did for that when it comes up. Okay, so I'm just going to take out this January and February social schedule. I redid it because I didn't really like how small the font was or my social stats tracking. And then I also have a replacement page for this notes page that I'll just have to print at another time. And I'll just tell you about it. I won't do it before the video because I'm short on time and I want to make sure I get this out as soon as possible. Okay, so the last one is my budget. And this was because I accidentally printed my monthly expenses on the back. So I just need this January page in here. And I have February too. I guess I'll leave February in, but I'll replace it or add in the month that looks like this for February at a different time. Okay, so that is the inserts that I needed to replace, except for the one. One more thing I'm going to do in preparation, and then I'll walk you guys through this. I like to create my own labels for my tabs and dividers. So the way that I do it so that I can maximize the use of my materials, including this vinyl sticker sheet, which is to set up all of my labels at the top. And then I have these stat stickers, which I need for my health planner, which I just fill in as much as I can at the bottom for use in that planner. So that way I can print a full sheet and not have to waste or hold back any of the label paper for the future. So I'm just going to quickly cut the tabs off now and get those ready, and then I'll do the stat stickers off camera when I have a little more time. All right, so I have everything here ready to go as far as the labeling, and I'll just kind of show you one, I think, and then I'll go ahead and label everything, and then I'll walk you through. This set of tabs here is all for my side tabs, and the very first one is going to be my inbox. So I'll pull that out, and then we'll put on that inbox tab. I'm going to trim it down just a smidge. So I have that, and I'll just set it there on the tab. So that is my process. See if this will focus. And I'll go ahead and do the rest of the tabs here. the next set of tabs are for my top tabs, and they are all labeled accordingly. So the first part, let me get this closer to you guys so you can see. The first part of my label there before the 2 colons is the planner it's in. The second part is what part of the planner it is. So when you get into like agenda, it'll be week, month. The year is a little bit more specific, so I went ahead and did that specifically just so that I can get used to my flow. And then usually I won't need to reference them, but in the beginning, I always like to have them well labeled so I can find what I'm looking for. That is how I decided to do it, and I usually do the same thing year after year with the planner first for the main section and then the individual spread or page that I'm accessing in that section. So these last 4 here plus the holiday are going to be added separately when I get the actual tabs that are going to go for these. I didn't order enough for my setup this year, so I went ahead and placed another order. I only ordered, I think, 4 top tab sets before, and I need another one for the bottom tabs. And then the holiday one, I think what I'm going to do is actually modify a Happy Planner dashboard for the classic. If you cut it off at the bottom, you can get a tab from that. And I think that will work really nicely for my holiday section, but I don't usually need that till the end of the year, so I'll just put this to the side for now. But anyway, so I have everything as far as tabs labeled except for these 4 sections, which are in my reference section as long-term storage. Okay, let's jump in. So this is my 2026 half letter planner. I have DIY'd this cover, and there is a video if you want to see how I did that. But I just love the design and the book feels. I also have it on expander rings here, which are Happy Planner expander rings in metal, gold. I may go down a size to the 1.5-inch discs because they feel a little bit big for me just on this smaller planner size. But I do need some room because I have quite a few planners freaking planned in here. So I like a bigger disc, but these might be a smidge too big. Next, we have my Sticky Dash, which is another DIY project, and I already set it up with some sticky notes. And then on the back, it has a couple of flaps and a pocket, a flap and a pocket. And I put my library reading log in here for now. It's currently residing in my classic size planner, and I will just migrate it to this spot once I get into this planner and move in. And it fits really nicely in this pocket space. I'll probably go down a size because I made 2 of these when I gave this away as a freebie. One that's like this size and then one that's a little bit smaller, almost like the traditional library card size for like mini planners or smaller planners. So I may switch it out eventually, but for now I'm just going to finish out this larger card and keep it here, I think. So that's the start of my planner, and now we're moving into the main sections. I have 6 tabs here on the side, which divide up my planner into 6 major sections. My first section here is inbox, then the next section is goals, productivity, schedules, and then at the back I'm going to have commonplace and reference. These 6 tabs divide up my planner into the major sections, and then as I get into my individual dated planners, then I have some top tabs to navigate through those, which I'll explain when we get there. So these tabs I bought off of Amazon. They are fairly thin, but very clear, which I like about them. I wish they were a little bit thicker, but the thinness is okay with me for these applications. And I do like that they're very clear so that you can see the dashboards behind. All of the accessories that I'm using as well will be linked down below in the description in case you're looking for something. So this is a dashboard set I just made. Again, there's a video on it if you just want to know the details on these dashboards. But I have this vellum overlay, which I printed, and then I also printed this cardstock backer, which is of a bookshop image. And I just love the design of this. It just makes me want to find this place and go ahead and live there. So this is the image that started it all and kind of led me into the designs you're going to see for the rest of the dashboards in this part of my planner. Next, we have an insert from my shop. This is my Getting Things Done inbox. I am using only 2 of the, I think maybe 8 or 9 different styles of forms that come in that printable. I am using the inbox more these days as a placeholder inbox where it doesn't need to be scheduled right away, but I don't want to forget about that item, and I can, migrate it where I need it to go when I have the time. I decided that I only really need 2 of the inserts from that printable, so I went ahead and printed the inbox version for anything that's coming in, but I don't really have a place to put it in my planner. Those pages I have 2 of. And then I printed a someday list, which is more of a I'd like to, but doesn't really need to be done type of list. And I printed 2 of those as well. So that's what's going to live in that inbox section for me. Next, we get into my goals section. So this is a big section that I love to reference and fill out every year. I have, again, the vellum overlay dashboard with this really nice bookshop image on cardstock. And then I put a few pages of dot grid paper. Just as a note, too, I'm using classic size filler paper cut down for a lot of the note paper in here because I have a ton of it. So anything I thought I could cut down and make use of in this planner is what I'm using. So I didn't go out and buy new note paper for this planner. So I have the dot grid paper in here. I will be setting up all of my customized goals inserts again this year. So that video should be coming before the year is out, and I'll fill that out and show you guys what I end up doing in this section when that time comes. Next, we have the productivity tab. So this is where I keep anything that's more of like a guide or a reference for getting more stuff done. And again, I have a vellum dashboard overlaid on a cardstock image. And then in here, I went ahead and printed out just a spread of my hourly grid layout undated. And what I'll end up doing is using this as my master schedule, my ideal schedule. And then I'll put little sticky notes to time block how I would like my days to go. Once I, have something change in my life, then I can modify it really easily, but still have a nice reference for time blocking my week every week. And then on the front, I'm thinking I'll be putting in a new morning routine. So I'll set up these pages, and I'm sure I'll do a video on it when that time comes as well. So morning routine on the front, and then I'm not sure what I want to do on the back just yet. In the past, I've done a block schedule, which is kind of nice, but I haven't really referenced block scheduling in a long time. So I think I'll want to do something different here. I just don't know what that will be as of yet. Next, we have my schedule section. So this is the biggest section here in my planner. And this is where I keep all of my individual planners by type. Pretty much anything that is dated will go into this section of my planner. And in here, I have, again, another vellum dashboard and the cardstock backer. So the very first grouping of pages in here is what I call my year planner. So I have my inserts. The first one here is my year glance. And I don't reference this often, so I don't have a tab for it. But right behind that, I have my future log, which is where the first tab lives. And this is where I will put in all of the dates that come in throughout the year that I need to reference. So this is where they go first, and then I put them onto a monthly and my weekly as I go through the year. But I know I can see the whole year at once with this future log setup. So the tabs that I'm using as my top tabs are a little bit thicker than these ones that I'm using on the side. They are from a shop called The Outlined Co., which again will be linked down below if you are interested. But I like that they're a little bit more heavy duty than these ones because it's easier to pull them when I'm looking to go to a specific page. When they're really soft, I do feel like they don't pull as well, which was the problem with the ones I had in my classic size for the last year or two. I got used to having the thicker ones, and then I went down, which made my planner thinner, which I did like about them, but it was harder for me to pull a bookmark by feel, which is part of my system. I like to flow through my planner in that way without even needing to look at some point. So like I said, this is the Future Log tab. Next, we have a perpetual calendar. This I'm going to be using as my work schedule. And basically, I just kind of fill in any projects that are coming in for my freelance work and when their due dates are. And it's just a nice at-a-glance look at what's due in which week. So that's what I use this for. You probably won't see this again in any flip-throughs just because I keep this part of the planner private. Next, I have another perpetual schedule, and this time I am using it for my Etsy sales. So I've condensed down my budget planner quite a bit to just 2 tabs, and I did cut out my yearly habits. So I only had really 2 technically year style inserts for this section of my planner. So what I decided to do is put these 2 together as one big year planner, both my budget and my yearly overviews. So this is just going to house my daily sales from Etsy. I just like to see how, sales are going. I don't really do anything else with that information, but it's just nice to see and reference if I need to. And then this last tab in this section is my year budget. Now, there are yearly pages that go in the front of this. So I have here, after that sales perpetual calendar, I have printed out from my budget planner the following. I have a year to glance, which is where I put all of those financial bills that don't follow a monthly schedule. I put those here. And then I also have a yearly overview, so I can just get a real quick look at what income we have coming in, what expenses, our savings for each month, and then how we're doing as far as, adding to our wealth, or if we are, spending more than we are taking in. And then I do a little chart here with either bar graphs or line graphs so I can see the overall fluctuations. So I like to have these 2 in here for reference. And then I also have the yearly payment tracker printable in here in this format so that I can track all of the bills that we have going on throughout the year and our payments. These are pages that I don't reference daily, so it doesn't have a tab, but I put it right in front of the other budget pages so I know where to find them when I need them. And for that budget tab, I have a couple of pages in here. I have this month at a glance, which is more of my bill pay schedule. So I'll put in all of the days where I have bills or income coming in, and then I will reference it down here at the bottom with the actual amounts and whether or not it was paid. Over here, I have the month overview, which again kind of breaks it down into income and expenses, savings, and then I transfer those numbers in the end to that yearly overview page with the graph. So those are really all that I need for my budgeting at this point. There's also an expense tracker in that budget planner, but I find that I'm just repeating things that I could easily look up on my phone when I look at my bank accounts. So I'm just going to eliminate that this year. So on the back, I went ahead and just printed a notes page. I did have to print an extra page, so I got February's overview here ready to go, but I still need to print out the month and the cover page for that. So that's really the end of my year planner. And next we're flowing into my agenda planner. I did shuffle the order of my planner setup this year. Again, there were a lot of changes that I wanted to make, and so I ended up doing some changes, including, going down the size, but trying not to do too much. So I do have all the same sections basically in this planner, but I have reordered them a little bit to see if I like this flow a little bit better. So here we have my agenda planner, and at the front, I have a full spread monthly. Last year, I had a single page monthly with an overview and a to-do list, but I felt like that was going to be just too small for my needs in a half letter. So we're doing the normal split page monthly. And again, all of these you can find in my shop. So I'll be filling this out just to keep track of any scheduling stuff, events, appointments, and directly referencing off of that future log from the front. The next tab is my Agenda Goals tab. And here we have the Goals and Tasks 2.0 insert from my shop. I use this to fill out my monthly goals every month, and then I will also apply the weekly tasks related to those goals to help me really break it down. I usually do a setup video for my goals every month, so I'm sure I'll have a video on this if you want to see how I'm doing it. But I'm going to basically be using the same method that I've been using in years past in my classic size, so you can reference any of those videos as well, just to see how I utilize these pages. The third tab in here is my agenda week, and for that, I am using the hourly dashboard lined layout from my shop. I am really excited. I really loved this layout for 2025 in my classic. I'm a little bit worried it's going to be too small in a half letter, but I went ahead and created them just to see, and maybe I can make this work. We'll find out as the year progresses. I think it'll work out fine functionally. I just think that I'm going to have limited space for decor because it is so much smaller than a classic. But we'll find out together how it goes. I really like to, decorate my spreads, keep me engaged. So we will see how this all goes together. But this is the hourly dashboard lined layout, and there's also a grid version of this as well. So I have all of the weeks for January in there, and then at the back, we will have a to-do page, which is going to be from the Getting Things Done inbox insert. I still need to reprint this page. This was one of the ones that I had meant to reprint and put in earlier in the video and did not. But this page will be replaced with a running to-do list with a little checkbox area. And that's where all of my monthly to-dos will go. Then I have facing it my social schedule. And the tab here I'm calling Agenda Social, since it's kind of a mix of both social and then monthly to-dos. And I just thought social would get me here more accurately, I guess. And here what I ended up doing is creating a custom layout. I took the budget planner. So if you saw the budget month at a glance, I took this and I modified it for my social media schedule, so I wouldn't have to date it every month. I can use it dated, and then all I did was put in the space to list out the YouTube videos and hopefully Instagram Reels. I'm really bad at doing short form video. I really don't like it. So I'm hoping that I'll find a method that works better for me in 2026. So I have that ready to go as kind of part of my goal setting. But I like that it's already pre-dated. I'm thinking that because the boxes are somewhat smaller than what I've been using in the past, not only are they smaller, width-wise, but they're also shorter than the ones I was using in my classic. So I'm thinking there might be some referencing. I don't know if I'm going to do like a dot or if I'm going to do, like a shorthand here and then list them out so I know which ones are the videos. And then I usually write in my posts as well in this space. So we're going to feel it out and see how this goes as far as setting up and making it useful and functional for me. But I have that in here. And on the back this time, I put the social stats layout, which is, again, that same budget planner monthly page with custom elements down here for my social media stat tracking. I went ahead and printed out January and February so I could do some pre-planning in those. And I have that ready to go. But again, this is a custom setup. I do custom inserts. If you are interested, just reach out to me on Etsy. I'd be happy to quote you on what you are looking for. All right, so that is the end of my agenda planner. The next planner we're going to get into here is my health planner. At the front, I added in this annual measurements sheet. So again, I don't need to reference this on a daily basis. It's going to be more of a once a month type thing. So I went ahead and put it up front. And that way I know where to find it because it's kind of at the start of the planner. And then I have my health month, which this year I've been using for tracking my workouts, which I think I'm going to continue doing, as well as my calorie intake and my protein. I may end up doing something a little bit different next year, but for now, I'm trying not to change too much, like I mentioned. So I think this was working pretty well, and I'm going to keep that for 2026. Next, we have my health habits and step tracker section, which I'm calling my health overview. And here I just will track some of my health habits. Usually I like to see, if I close my Apple Watch rings or if I got, 10,000 steps, things like that. So that's what I'll be putting in there. I'm thinking this area is going to be my monthly strength training routine section. So I'll be able to map out the exercises that I'm supposed to be doing and reps and sets for, whatever days I'm going to be working out. So I'm thinking that's where I'm going to put it as my guide. And then I'll set it up in my phone so I could track while I'm at the gym. And then this could be open space for either decor or something else if I need it for functionality. And then on this side, I have my step tracker, which is available in my shop as is. I believe that this is a custom, the health habits page is, again, another custom item, kind of a modification of one of my inserts. So I do have inserts that are similar to this, but not this one in particular. And then, like I said, I added that with my step tracker, which is available as is from my shop. Always trying to up my steps and get to 10,000 a day. So this is a good way for me just to see how I'm doing and to push me to do better if I'm not getting where I need to be. And then I'm going to start the year off with, again, the lined vertical layout from my shop for my health tracking for the week. So here, I think I showed these earlier, these stats stickers. I went ahead and customized them so that they should fit nicely between the lines here. I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, it should be good. So these are already preset to fill, the line spacing that's here on this lined vertical, which I find very useful. And then I can just pull them in with whatever decor I set up for the week. And again, this is something that I didn't change much, just went down in size. So we'll see how it goes. And I have all the weeks of January in here. And then the next tab that I have in here is my health trackers tab. Here I did another somewhat customized page. This is very similar to what is in there currently as far as my meds and supplements tracker. I went ahead and just added the word symptoms here so that I could track any symptoms and condensed it down. But I also offer separate pages for both meds and supplements and symptom tracking if you want to separate larger charts. but this one is a customization so that I could condense it down into one page. And then over here, I am going to be marrying that with my body weight tracker. And actually, I'm looking at it now. I think I need to flip it. I wanted the body weight tracker to be on the front so that they would be facing each other. So I'm going to have to reprint this page too. It was definitely like just trying to figure stuff out, getting things done. And so I'm finding some little things I want to tweak to make this planner perfect for me. And that's one of them. So I'm going to make sure that I reprint this page. But basically it's going to be like this, punched, and then on the back will be my health stats. Not sure why I punched it the wrong way, but kind of frustrating there. So those two I do reference on a daily basis, and I'll just write in my daily weight here on this sheet. And then this insert is my health stats tracker. This is what I use for tracking my health stats overall, the things I like to track. Same as these, basically, but in a monthly format. And then I like to track both my month totals and my daily averages, because each month has a different amount of days. So this really gives you a more accurate measurement of your stats overall. And that's the end of my health planner. And then we have my faith planner, which is technically the last planner in this section. And for it, I was going to basically cut out my faith planner this year, but again, I don't want to change too much. So I'm going to see how I do this first month and see if I can keep up with it. I do enjoy faith planning, but I just feel like my time is getting more and more condensed these days, specifically in the morning. And so I find like it's a little bit more of a burden when I do my faith planning now. So I don't want it to be that way. I really want to enjoy it and be able to, faith plan with joy. So we're going to see how it goes, but I may end up eliminating it at some point if it just tends to be too much for me. So this is my Faith Monthly, and I've been using this to track my daily Bible reading. I'm interested, any of you guys who faith plan, if you would want to do a year through the Bible kind of group together and follow like the same plan and, maybe meet once a month or something like that, where we can talk about what we learned for the month and that kind of thing. So if that's of interest to you, reach out in the comments. I've thought about doing it, but I'm just so bad with commitment. So again, if I had a group and I made it worthwhile, I might be more inclined to stick it out and really make this faith planner a priority versus kind of an afterthought these days. So I'm very interested to see if that would be something you guys would be interested in. And then I got to figure out how to make that happen. But, or if you know of a person who's doing faith planning and is hosting a Bible group, leave that in the comments too. Maybe I could just tag on to another group that's already happening. But anyway, so this is where I would track the verses that I read. I do read through the Bible once a year, every year, and I do like to have that reference somewhere in my faith planner. So that's what this will be used for. Next, we have my faith overview pages. This insert is available in my shop as is in all sizes. And of course, I use this for habit tracking, my prayer list, and then I do like a spiritual check-in over here every month. The next tab is my faith week. And this is where I do my Bible verse lettering. I usually do a verse of the day lettering directly from the app I use for my Bible reading. And then I will fill this out. I really like this practice, even though it takes up quite a bit of time in my morning routine. So I want to keep it, but again, we will see how it goes. And I have all the weeklies in there. So last year, or this year, I should say, 2025, I followed along with the Little Faith Blogs schedule where she did, I think it's like the Little Bible Plan, and she provided a monthly schedule of things that you can do and read that are faith-based, which was a great thing to have, but I think I'm just going to eliminate that just to try to eliminate a little bit of time out of this planner. And so I had a fourth tab back here that I could use, and I needed a spot for my monthly memory keeping page. So that's what I'm going to use this tab for. So this is technically its own little standalone tab. But this here will be used for writing in a highlight each day. This is my way of memory keeping in my planner without it being too overwhelming for me. And I've really enjoyed this process. So I'm going to continue that into 2026. And I'm just going to use a basic split page monthly for that. And then usually on the back, I will create a currently of sorts for each month that goes with the same theme. So that's the end of my schedule section. The last two sections here in my planner are as follows. I have this commonplace section, and I did start a commonplace journal I think last year, like mid last year. And I want to actually house some like active pages in this part of my planner so that I can build more pages for that commonplace. I feel like if it's in this planner, it gets done. If it's outside of this planner, it gets forgotten. So I always try to add things in to this planner, and that way I know that I'll be referencing it daily, and I, stick with it, I guess, and remember about it. That's kind of been the problem with my commonplace planner, is that like I have to really, set time aside right now to commonplace and to add notes and things to it. And so I really want it to be a little bit more convenient. So I have a vellum dashboard for it. And then I also have another cardstock backer. These back dashboard images, I decided to use the book stacks dashboards, which I think is very fitting for this kind of reference section of my planner. And right now I don't have anything in it. Let me go and grab my commonplace journal and let me show you some issues that I'm having at this point. So I did start, like I said, a commonplace journal or commonplace book, I guess is what I referenced. And there is a setup video if you guys want to know more about commonplacing and what it is and how I am using it. And I really, really like it. However, I started this in an A5 planner, unfortunately, which I wish I had not done. So the pages, they fit in here, but as you can see, they stick out and they're a little bit shorter than the half letter. So this is the difference between an A5 size planner and a half letter. If I was in a European country or another country that used the metric system, I would totally just have set this whole planner up as A5. But because it's really hard to get A4 paper, I am limited here in the United States to letter size paper for printing, and it just makes it very convenient to do half letters so you can just cut it one time and be done versus having to cut all four sides each time and only print one page per time. But if I had A4 paper, which I have looked high and low on Amazon for some quality A4 paper, and it's very much non-existent on Amazon. So anyway, I have set up my whole commonplace book in this A5 size. So I'm not sure if I'm just going to continue with that or if I'm going to actually cut these pages down a little bit and try to fit it in so that they're, just a smidge shorter than my half letter, but ready to go. Because I have already filled out quite a few pages in my commonplace planner. So I haven't decided yet what I want to do, but this is where I want commonplace pages to live, whether it's going to be my long-term place for all of my commonplacing or if it's going to just to be a place where I have new pages ready to go and I can fill out the pages and then migrate them back over to this commonplace book. I haven't quite decided yet what I want to do there, but what I do think, like if I wanted to just drop in some of these pages for the time being, just put it in here and then just see how I like it with that extra, Yeah, I really don't like that. The extra width on the page. So I think I am going to end up cutting them down if I decide to keep them as is, which is annoying, but hopefully I can manage to do it without cutting off a lot of information. So yeah, so I'm going to be reworking this, and I'll show it when we actually get to the flip through time of next year when I'm at, January's flip through. I'll show you what I decided and how I ended up moving forward with it. But anyway, that's really what's going to live here. That's the plan, at least. And then the final section here is my reference section. So this was in my classic size planner as well. And so I went ahead and created the dashboard and the cardstock backer. So here we're going to have 4 tabs at the bottom. So they're going to be basically these top tabs flipped upside down and used as bottom tabs here in this section. And so that way I know when I need to reference them, how to get to them with ease. And I did DIY these dashboards as well. So these ones will have the tab overlay when it arrives. I'm still waiting for those to ship. And I've got, again, another vellum overlay, which is from that same shop, but a different version. So it varies a little bit from the one I'm using here on the front to kind of differentiate this section from those. And I just used some cardstock in the same pattern I've been using for the inside cover. So I have that. And then I did another DIY book cover with this pattern on the inside. So I have one in case I want to flip them or switch them out. I will have this match the inside cover for that one. So I use those 2 patterns and just, what do you call that? When you just go back and forth between them. So I have that, and then I have the, this section was the business section, which is going to be for my Etsy business. Then I have my work section, which is for my freelance work. And then I finally have my social section, which is where all of my social media ideas will go. So those 4 tabs or pages will just be where I house those kinds of notes for those particular sections. My classic size, I have quite a bit of notes from years and years that I've just kept and referenced on an as-needed basis. So some of those will be transferred onto half-letter pages and put into here. And then I'll just have some extra note paper for anything new that comes up. So that's those 4 sections. And then right behind that, I have just some note paper. And this is classic size note paper cut down to half letter. So that's the complete planner setup I have ready to go. And just love this vibe, this bookish vibe. There are a few more things I'll be adding to. I think I'm going to be creating another kind of pocket folder, maybe with a dual flap and completely clear with no cardstock backer. Oopsie. I also am thinking I need to add in some pen loops. So I may be making some new pen loops or reusing the ones I've used in the past. But I haven't decided yet on those either. Can't believe there's only a couple weeks left before I'm moving into this size, so I'm a little bit worried about it, but I do like the size of this being so much more compact. And like I said, when I get some smaller rings on here, I think that's going to make a nice difference. But that's pretty much it, you guys. If you have any questions on my setup or if you need more details, do let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer any questions or give you any tips or tricks if you just need some advice on your own planner setup. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up down below. Also, to go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!